I've really enjoyed being on the CCAC to date. I think that my favorite part of being here is just learning from all of you guys. After I first met Caitlin last week, and she was talking about her doctor telling her mom that she would learn how to whistle, we got off the call and I actually sat down with Dominic and I was just like playing with him and tickling him. And I said, I just met somebody that is also clef affected and she can sing and she can dance and she can whistle and you're going to do all these things too. And he just cracked up laughing. But honestly, I would say that that was a huge thing for me because I know that there are so many things that people are constantly telling us that he may not be able to do. So just from a very personal mom standpoint, meeting moms like you guys and clef affected people like you guys that have just been rocking and doing amazing things in this world and helping others has been awesome. And I think that that's what the CCA needs to continue to do, is just educate and teach and show other people that there are no limitations.
The connections we make are definitely lifelong, and I've enjoyed hearing from all of you as well. Caitlin, can you tell us a little bit about what your goals are for the committee?
I also really want to keep learning and sharing experiences, be inspired. At my first CCAC meeting, when everyone was introducing themselves and explaining their cleft journeys and or stating their personal connection with cleft if they had a personal cleft journey like I did, and they were naming their type of cleft, and I had never heard all of these specific names. I just always knew, oh, I was born with a cleft lip. End of story. And so then I was like, oh gosh, when they get to me, I don't know what to say. I was trying to Google. I texted my mom. I was like, what's my cleft called? I had no idea. And so that was, at first I was, nervous and scared that I wouldn't know the right thing to say. But then I remembered, no, this is a community. These are all people who are learning every day. And then I got excited and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to learn so much just by being here and having people to talk to who've been down this road like I have in some way or another.
Sharing our journeys with one another can help people get through a hard time, and say it's going to be okay. Just taking one step at a time, one day at a time in those early days where, every day kind of seems long and hard and filled with obstacles. If you just take it one day at a time, or if you're at the point we're at where there might be a surgery a year or a surgery every other year, just taking it one surgery at a time really helps to lessen the load that you feel like you're carrying. And it helps to, I think, honor the cleft journey and to let your child know that it is part of their journey and something that they, should be proud to share, but also that it shouldn't be something that defines them by any means. They are awesome, resilient, strong people that can make it through this bump in the road and this journey, although it may be long, is something that they can definitely handle and overcome as the time goes on.
Do you think having that conversation is like the hardest part about dating with a cleft, or do you think that there's something else that's more challenging? And do you think there's a difference in your answer between like online dating versus meeting someone in the real world?
Absolutely. To the last question, I'm going to work backwards.
Yeah.
So the only thing that makes it a little bit more comfortable me having that conversation with him, because it is a needed conversation and I'm going to have to do it, is the fact that he's seen me several times. So it's not a shock. Comparative to online dating, you always have to make sure that at least one photo is a clear, straight on photo, because I never want someone to feel like I catfished them. And I didn't. And this is also my face. So I don't want you to expect anything different, because I'm going to show up as me.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like for a long time I never said anything about it, like specifically for online dating. Um, and I think more recently, like now I actually put it in my profile that I'm cleft affected and proud. And I think part of that for me is because like in pictures, I can like pass as not being cleft affected. And then when I show up, there's this like double take or like the extra linger, you know?
Exactly.
And so it just feels like, yeah. So I would much rather have people like know up front for sure.
And it like you're saying, because I can't take this off. I can't change this. This is me. And so I want it to be not in your face, but I want you to know that this is a part of me. Clef is a part of me. And especially for the both of us, we work in clef. We work with clef and craniofacials.
Yeah,
So this is it.
for sure.
So I'm just like, okay, I
Yeah.
know that this conversation is gonna have to be had. And it's just kind of figuring out
Yeah.
when.
And not just having someone or a younger generation to look up to or to aspire to, but also just to know that they're not alone and that there is a community. Because even if you do see someone, you're like, oh, there's one person, or oh, there's two people, but just knowing that, oh, their journey might have been just as difficult, and they probably understand the same difficulties that I have gone through. So being able to feel like they can connect with someone is really important, especially as um, a young kid or even a teenager. I did want to mention or say something really quick that if you are a part of the cleft community, though, don't ever think that it's your obligation or responsibility to speak on your process if you're not ready. I know I've experienced people asking me when I was younger, like, oh, you're a dancer with a clef. Like, how is that? Or what is that like? And what was your journey? And all these things. And I don't know if I was ready to talk about it or if I've even processed that as a kid. So just know that if you're in the clef community and you're young, or even if you're not younger and you're just not ready to talk about it, that doesn't mean you're letting anyone or the cleft community down. Talk about your process in your own time, and you just waking up every day and trying to be proud and confident and walking the streets is being an advocate in itself. So, yeah.
That's a great call out. That's super important. I know many of us on this call had to take our time to process the situation. So, Justin, I know you mentioned representation at the tail end of our last question, but do you have any closing thoughts on what representation in the arts means to you?
Representation to me is all about perspective. I remember we were having a conversation a week ago, and I was just talking about um, all of us are in different fields of the arts, but at the end of the day, we're all artists in one way or another. So something that can look maybe a little weird to me can be extremely beautiful to somebody else, or something that may look blue can be black or brown to somebody. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all about your perspective. And having cleft um, for so long, especially in my adolescent years, like I kind of looked at having this condition as a bad thing. And my perspective was just so negative, you know. And then getting a little bit older, learning a little bit more about myself, finding other things that I found interesting or passions that I didn't know that I had. I realized that having cleft is a gift. It is a gift. What we have is a gift, and it allows us. Having cleft has also like just allowed us to tap into certain things emotionally and mentally that some people can't necessarily do. Like I call it like my little superpower. Like there's like an extra little bit of empathy that is tied to all of us because of some of the things that we've been through.
And then there's the cleft portrait work. My cleft portraits are to celebrate and raise awareness for our global affected community, and they are to show the pure beauty and incredible journey that is cleft. It really is the single most growth inducing experience of my life to be the mother of a cleft affected daughter. And I want the cleft affected community to feel seen and heard and respected. And I want my art to also help parents to see the raw beauty that is their journey, and a journey that I understand. The children are our greatest teachers, and being the parent of a cleft affected child, baby, young person, adult, is incredible. And so the project is, the portraits are to show that journey. And my experience of that journey, I hope, can be seen in the work that I produce. And also, at the same time, I'm raising funds to support Smile Train with their work now and into the future.